welcome to the Deep Dive. So today we're unpacking a really fascinating query from a listener. You mentioned recalling reading something about a man talking to his deceased wife. Using a kind of spirit-like radio
Yeah.
that supposedly produced perfect voices.
Yeah.
And somehow you've also blended that memory with the idea of an ectoplasm invention. It's quite a mix.
It is. It really is. And, this memory is actually incredible because it sort of perfectly jams together over 100 years of, well, human hope and paranormal tech, basically.
Okay.
So our mission here is to kind of untangle these threads. We've got the 19th century stuff, physical mediumship, which is where ectoplasm comes from.
Right.
And then you've got the 21st century tech, instrumental transcommunication, ITC, which gave us the spirit radio. Two very different concepts.
Got it. So let's start with that spirit radio piece. Feels like the core of it. This idea of a phone for the dead, it's not exactly new, is it? I remember reading about Thomas Edison.
Exactly, yeah. Back around, 1920, Edison actually speculated about building some kind of apparatus, something sensitive enough, he thought, to detect these surviving. He called them swarms of personality entities after death.
Swarms, okay.
Yeah, but what's really key here is he totally dismissed spiritualism, seances and mediums. He was thinking like an engineer, a materialist.
Mm-hmm.
He figured if personality survives, it had to be some kind of material thing you could detect. Not a ghost in the traditional sense, more like a swarm.
Okay, that materialist thinking makes sense. If it's material, you need an instrument. And that, I guess, leads us from just passively recording things.
Yeah.
Like those old EVP tapes, right? Konstantin Radiv.
Right, Radiv's work, where you'd listen back later hoping to find a voice.
Yeah, hoping to find something. This moves us towards actually talking in real time.
That's the huge leap. And the real game changer, technologically speaking, probably came around 2002. A guy named Frank Sumption built this custom device.
Frank's box.
That's the one, Frank's box. It was basically a modified AM radio. It sweeps, scans through the frequencies really fast without stopping on any single station.
So it just creates noise.
Pretty much, yeah. Raw, chopped up audio bits and static white noise. The theory was spirits could somehow manipulate those little sound fragments, those phonetic bits, in real time to talk back.
Okay, and this is where it connects back to the listener's memory, right?
Okay.
The tech moves from a sort of hobbyist thing to something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
The man talking to his wife. That sounds like Gary Galka.
Almost certainly. That's the story that really propelled these devices into the mainstream. It's such a powerful, tragic narrative. Galka, an engineer, he invented the PSB-7 Spirit Box.
The one you see everywhere now.
Exactly. He developed it after his daughter, Melissa, died tragically in 2004. She was only 17. And that story, a grieving father using this tech and claiming to hear her voice say, "Hi, Daddy, I love you."
Wow.
That just resonated. It turned the gadget from just a piece of tech into this, tangible symbol of hope against grief.
Right. And if you're hoping for contact, you want clear contact. Which brings us to the perfect voices part of the query. Because the raw audio from these boxes, it's usually pretty messy, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Garbled, fragmented. Which leads to basically two main explanations for what people think they hear.
Okay.
On the paranormal side, the idea is that spirits are actively taking those little sound fragments flying by in the static and skillfully arranging them into words, using the noise as raw material.
And the skeptical take.
Auditory pareidolia. Basically, your brain is hardwired to find patterns, especially voices, in random noise. Think seeing faces in clouds, but for sound. Plus, simple radio bleed-through, you might just catch a tiny snippet of an actual broadcast.
Makes sense. It's ambiguous.
Very. And to try and fight that ambiguity, you started seeing more advanced devices. Things like the Portal, or Galka's later APFD processor. These add things like noise reduction, reverb, echo.
Trying to clean it up.
Exactly. The goal shifts from just maybe getting a yes or no out of the static to trying to get clearer, maybe even sustained conversation, getting closer to that perfect voice.
Okay, so that covers the radio and the voices.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the curveball, ectoplasm, the ectoplasm invention, how does that fit in? It sounds completely separate.
It is technically zero connection to the radio. Ectoplasm is pure 19th century spiritualism, coined by Charles Richet, a Nobel laureate, actually, around 1894.
Really?
Yeah. He used it to describe this This weird, milky, often described as gelatinous substance, this exteriorized substance that physical mediums, famous ones like Sapia Palladino, supposedly produced from their body.
Produced from their bodies, okay.
Right. And the belief was spirits could then use this biological stuff, this ectoplasm, to manifest things, move objects, create sounds, even form partial or full figures. It was the physical medium for manifestation.
Okay, I think I see the connection the listener might have made, even if it's not technical.
Exactly. Why blend them in memory? It's about their function. Ectoplasm back then was seen as the biological medium, the physical stuff spirits manipulated.
Right.
Radio waves and white noise today are framed as the electromagnetic medium that spirits manipulate. So, the spirit box, the piece of technology, it conceptually takes the place of the human medium, the person producing the ectoplasm.
Ah, okay, so the listener's mind just jumped on that parallel. Both are the stuff needed for contact, one biological, one electronic.
Precisely. One is this sort of vital force, the actinic force, they call it, from the medium's body. The other is manipulated radio frequencies, different centuries, different theories, but the same fundamental role, the intermediary substance.
So this deep dive really separated out a very modern story, driven by grief and commerce, like the PSB-7.
Yeah, Gelka's story.
From this much older, almost gothic trope of ectoplasm from the seance room. Two different worlds.
Completely. And, you know, what this history really shows us is whether your stage is a dimly lit Victorian parlor with a medium, or it's a modern YouTube channel with a spirit box and maybe some fancy audio processing.
The new seance room, really.
Right. The tech changes, the theories evolve, from biological forces to radio waves. But the core human driver, that seems pretty constant. It's that deep, profound desire to just push back against the finality of death, to hear that voice, maybe clear and perfect, just one more time.
Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're unpacking a really fascinating query from a listener. You mentioned recalling reading something about a man talking to his deceased wife. Using a kind of spirit-like radio?
Yeah.
That supposedly produced perfect voices.
Yeah.
And somehow you've also blended that memory with the idea of an ectoplasm invention. It's quite a mix.
It is. It really is. And, this memory is actually incredible because it sort of perfectly jams together over 100 years of, well, human hope and paranormal tech, basically.
Okay.
So our mission here is to kind of untangle these threads. We've got the 19th century stuff, physical mediumship, which is where ectoplasm comes from.
Right.
And then you've got the 21st century tech, instrumental transcommunication, ITC, which gave us the spirit radio. Two very different concepts.
Got it. So let's start with